The following episode contains images and situations that some viewers may find objectionable. Viewer discretion is advised. Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Classic Gamer 74. I'm your host, Anthony Gamer, and in today's episode, by request, we are going to discuss the Postal game series. If you are not familiar with the Postal game series, I'll give you a short introduction. This game series began in 1997 and was an isometric top-down shooter developed by Running with Scissors and published by Ripcord Games. Upon its release, it was quite controversial, and for good reason. Obviously, why I put the warning on the intro is I always try to do that with my viewers when I have games that may be a bit on the controversial side. Regardless of your opinion about violent video games, this game definitely is one that really pushed boundaries farther than any other game to that point had. And because of that, it was quite popular as well as being extremely controversial, obviously for several reasons, which we'll get into as we continue. So we're going to talk about the first two games in the series, that being Postal and Postal 2. Maybe in a later episode, if this episode does pretty well, I'll discuss the other games, but we'll just have to see. So without further ado, let's get into Postal. Okay, so the story behind this game is that you take on the role of a man simply referred to as the Postal Dude, who has been evicted from his home. He believes the United States Air Force is releasing an airborne agent upon his town of Paradise, and that he is the only individual unaffected by the ensuing hate plague. He fights his way from his house to an Air Force base through various locations. Okay, so again, you start off in his neighborhood here, and you're just basically going around and, shooting everybody that moves. The voice that's in his head, the disembodied voice that you hear, is basically telling him to do what he's doing, and of course he makes some smart comments taunting his victims as he continues killing and all kinds of crazy stuff. So when you start off, you have this gun that has unlimited ammo, but of course it doesn't do much damage. And as you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see that you got other pretty cool weapons that you can pick up as time goes along. Also, of course, you're going to need that Kevlar vest to keep yourself from getting shot. Because don't forget, these people aren't just gonna, some of them are gonna stay there and let you shoot them, but others of them are gonna fight back as time. And as time goes on, they get better weapons as well. Alright, so after you take out the first set, you go on to the next episode or next mission that's called the truck stop. Another thing that you'll notice at the top of the screen is that you have a certain amount of kills that you have to make in order to move on to the next level. Interesting, when I first played this game, I forgot which button is the exit level button. Because sometimes, in computer games, you hit the escape key and then that's it. Well, in this game, the escape key is self-exiting. I think you know what I'm saying. So, yeah. Like I said, the second mission's a whole lot of fun, and they just get more challenging as time goes on. Just like I said, I hate to admit it, it's a pretty fun game. I'm kind of happy that it got recommended. Alright, the next area we come to is the outskirts. Now, this one's got some cool hidden weapons and objects that you gotta look for. One of the coolest weapons in this game, I think, is the rocket launcher. It does an awful lot of damage. Even though you pick up ammo for some weapons, there's some I just haven't been able to find. The shotgun is my favorite, as it is just about any other shooter game I've ever played. So For those of you that are just a little on the extra sick and twisted side, you're gonna love the next level, Parade of Disasters, as you are interrupting a parade and there are lots of unarmed people to shoot at. Keep in mind, though, in this game that other than your original gun, you do not have unlimited ammo. So, unless you're in a fight for your life against other armed people, be very careful and try to conserve your ammo. As the levels continue, they're not exactly giving large amounts of ammo away. The next mission is the bridge. Now, I think that the intro pretty much lets you know what's going on here. It just says, "Act now, supplies are limited." And they definitely are on this level. This is probably the most difficult one that I've gotten to so far. I didn't even get really all that far in this game, because I think how many actual missions there are. But this one, the viewpoint changes a little bit. It's not quite an isometric shooter. Well, I mean, it is, period, but it's got more of a top-down view to it, which is kind of makes it a little more difficult, especially if you've gotten used to that isometric view. But just to let you know, there's a lot more people shooting back at you in this mission, so be ready for it. Now, if you wish, you can, when you start a new campaign, you can choose different episodes. You have Postal, Special Delivery, Super Postal, and Excess Postage on all the levels. Seeing as I could not get past the last level, I decided to jump around a little bit and check out some of the other levels in this game. Okay, and this one is quite interesting. This one, you are shooting up what appears to be a Walmart. You got lots of victims in this one, and not a lot of armed people shooting back at you. And next one is Shantytown. Is this one you're pretty much going after a hobo jungle. It took me a few minutes to figure out how to get in, because you can pop off a couple guys from outside the fence, and then I just happened to eventually notice the hole in the fence. So this one's got a lot more runners in it than gunners, but so this one's a little less difficult than some of the others. And best of all, there's a whole lot of stuff that explodes. Another cool thing you can do is if you catch on fire, try to touch as many people as you can, and you can set them on fire as well. Next episode we have is Earthquake. So there's been an earthquake. So, yeah. Just when they thought things couldn't get any worse, here you come with your gun. So, yep. And the last episode I'm going to discuss today is La Palomino Resort. This place is either a retirement community or a country club. I can't really tell, probably a little bit of both. And yeah, you just really cut loose on this one. So, as I wrap up the first Postal game, yeah, it's controversial. Yeah, it's bloody and insensitive, but it's a video game. Chill the fuck out. There are worse things that you see on the news every day, so lighten up. It's a video game. If you don't want to play it, don't play it. You don't want your kids to play it, don't get it for them, because it is rated M for mature for a reason, so. Alright, so now we come to Postal 2. Now, this one's a little different because it is a first-person shooter. So, again, this one is... The guy is kind of similar in this one. Now, this one is set in the fictional Arizona town of Paradise. And this one follows the life of the Postal Dude, again, who must carry out mundane tasks throughout an in-game week, with the player deciding how violently or passively he will react to various situations. The player navigates the game's map to carry out his errands, with player choice having an effect on the setting. Okay, in this one, the Postal Dude, again, is living in a caravan trailer and has a nagging wife who is sending him out on these different errands. So, in the first day, you are going out to your job, which you find out that you lose, and there are protesters out front of the game studio, which surprisingly is Running with Scissors, the people that made this game. And after a while, the protesters who are protesting violence in video games decide to go into the game studio and shoot the place up. And thus the violence begins. And oh yeah, this game has got it all. Foul language, lots of blood, lots of violence, everything you could ever want in a first-person shooter. This game has it. Now, some of the quests that you go on are pretty mundane, from get your paycheck, get a gallon of milk, confess sins, get treatment for gonorrhea, all kinds of crazy stuff. And again, the decisions you make on how you handle things, either in a passive way or an aggressive way, can determine the flow of the story.
Hey, watch out, man.
One thing to remember is don't walk around with your gun out. This isn't Duke Nukem, and you are in a public place, so just pull your gun out when you need to. Here's a good example, though, of decision making. There's somebody getting held up. What are you going to do? Are you going to ignore it, or are you going to help the guy? Now remember, if you pull your gun and do some shooting, the police may come after you, and they will arrest you. I got arrested one time because I let myself get arrested just to see what happened, and I sat in a cell for like 20 minutes and taunted the guard, and nothing changed, so I got mad and restarted the game. So I guess if you're going to be more aggressive, don't get arrested. Another thing you got to watch out for is bumping into people, and be careful not to just flip the bird at everybody, because it can cause a fight. Like when I was in this convenience store buying milk, which was one of the tasks, I flipped off the guy that owns the place, and he started shooting, and then come to find out there actually is an underground terrorist organization attached to the grocery store, and that led into a whole nother side mission. Funny thing happened to me while I was trying to cash my check at the bank. Suddenly, a bunch of guys busted in and they decided to rob it. So I decided to be a good citizen and shoot the robbers. Well, for some reason, even though I did their job for them, the police got mad at me and started shooting at me too, so I had to dip out of the bank. And that pretty much is the first day of Postal 2. I am going to, of course, keep seeing what the rest of the days are like, but that first day was quite interesting, which I really have to give kudos to them for it being an open world, much like Grand Theft Auto in a lot of ways, and you are able to really drive the story yourself by the decisions you make and the things you do or don't do. So if you like to try a first-person shooter game that is very open, and like I said, the things that you do can determine the flow of the story, give this one a try. You will not be disappointed. In our next episode, we're going to discuss some handheld games and consoles. Well, that brings this episode of Classic Gamer 74 to a close. I really hope you all enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed presenting it to you. If you did, let me know by giving me a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to click that little bell icon down there so you'll be notified when I upload any new videos. Connect with me on all my social media platforms, check out my Teespring store, and check out my Patreon, where you will find some stuff that you're not going to find anywhere else. And also, don't forget, you can request any games that you'd like for me to play, or game series, or consoles, whatever. Just let me know, and I'll be happy to accommodate, because this is not just my channel, it's yours too. Well, until next time, this has been Anthony Gamer. Have yourselves a great week, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye for now.